What if the most famous theory of everything in the world isn't actually physics? For 40 years, string theory has promised to unite every force in the universe. Yet three of the sharpest minds in science can't agree whether it's genius or the biggest detour in the history of physics. Greene says it's our best shot at truth. Penrose says it's beautiful mathematics that forgot about reality. And Weinstein says it might be a giant academic scam. Today we're settling the real fight, not with hype, but with the actual arguments. Stick around because the answer might change how you think about science itself. Let's dive in. Here's the nightmare every physicist wakes up to. We have two rulebooks for the universe that don't talk to each other. General relativity perfectly describes galaxies, black holes, and the Big Bang. Quantum mechanics runs everything smaller than an atom. Put them together, say inside a black hole or at the Big Bang, and the math explodes with infinities. Game over. This clash is called the problem of quantum gravity, unsolved for almost 100 years. So when string theory showed up in the 1980s saying, hey, replace point particles with tiny vibrating strings and everything works in one equation, physicists lost their minds in a good way. The core idea is almost poetic. Every particle, electron, photon, graviton, is just a different note played on the same microscopic string. But there's a catch. It only works mathematically if the universe has 10 or 11 dimensions, not 3. The extra ones are supposedly curled up so small we can't see them, like a garden hose looking 1D from far away, but 2D up close. It predicts a ridiculous number of possible universes, some say 10 to the 500, called the landscape. And the biggest one, after 40 years, 0 unique predictions we can test with today's machines. Energy scales needed are 1 trillion times beyond the Large Hadron Collider. That's the battlefield. Now meet the three generals. Greene is probably the best communicator physics has ever had. His argument is simple but powerful. String theory is the only known framework that gives us a working quantum theory of gravity without spitting out infinities. Nature hates infinities. Every time we fixed them in the past, we were on the right track. It nailed black hole entropy from first principles, matching Hawking's famous formula. Yeah, we can't test it today, but history is full of ideas that sounded crazy until technology caught up. People mocked atoms in the 1890s because you couldn't see them. Now we take selfies with them. And finally, the marketplace argument. Let 1,000 flowers bloom. Some physicists work on strings, others on loops, others on whatever. The cream will rise. Abandoning string theory now would be like quitting the Manhattan Project in 1943 because the bomb wasn't finished yet. Greene's bottom line, mathematical beauty plus solving the hardest problem in physics plus falsifiable in principle equals keep going. Penrose won the Nobel Prize in 2020 for black holes. The guy literally wrote the book on reality. And he thinks string theory is, well, not physics. His killer points, 26 dimensions? 10 dimensions? Really? Compactification sounds clever, but Penrose says the energy needed to see those extra dimensions is tiny on cosmic scales. If they exist, we should have seen hints already. Hiding 7 dimensions feels like a trick, not an explanation. Physics isn't mathematics. String theory is gorgeous math, no question, but it's completely disconnected from experiment. Reproducing Hawking entropy? Cool. But it doesn't predict anything new about black holes we didn't already know. And the deepest cut, we're solving the wrong problem. The real crisis in physics isn't quantizing gravity. It's understanding why quantum superpositions collapse into definite reality. Penrose thinks gravity itself causes collapse when superpositions get too big. In other words, we don't need to quantize Einstein. We need Einstein to fix quantum mechanics. String theory is looking under the wrong lamppost. Penrose's verdict, string theory is fashionable nonsense that seduced a generation into doing math instead of physics. Weinstein doesn't just attack the theory. He attacks the system that made it king. String theory controls the jobs. Want a faculty position in theoretical physics at a top university? Better have string theory papers. Alternative approaches are basically frozen out. It's a closed loop of self-evaluation. The same people who built their careers on strings decide who gets grants, who gets tenure, who gets to speak at conferences. That's not science. That's a cartel. Beauty is not evidence. Yes, Parts of string theory are stunning. Other parts, the landscape, anthropic reasoning, supersymmetry that never showed up, are ugly patches. You don't get to claim beauty when it's convenient and ignore the warts. Weinstein's brutal line, string theory didn't fail. It became too big to fail. Here's the uncomfortable truth. All three can be right at the same time. Greene is right that string theory is mathematically unique and solved problems no one else touched. Penrose is right that without new predictions and with 7 invisible dimensions, it's drifting away from physics. Weinstein is right that the sociology of the field turned a promising idea into a monopoly. After 40 years and 0 confirmed unique predictions, the honest answer is, we still don't know. But science isn't a courtroom where someone wins today. It's a centuries-long bet. So here's my take. Keep some of the best minds on string theory, because abandoning a mathematically consistent quantum gravity would be insane. But break the monopoly. Fund the weirdos, the loop people, the collapse people, the outsiders. Real breakthroughs usually come from the margins, not the palace. What do you think? Is string theory still physics, or has it become something else? Drop your take in the comments. Best arguments get pinned. If you want more deep dives into the battles that actually shape science, hit subscribe and the bell. Next week, we're doing quantum gravity alternatives that string theory buried. You won't want to miss it.